Hello, intermediate band, and welcome to learning about the scale degree names. Previously, we've always used numbers to tell about these, and or just the names of the notes themselves. But there are actual terms that go with each scale degree, and it does become helpful to know what they are and understand what they mean and why we care about them that way. So that's what this lesson is about. And I think I told you in class or today actually, that I've had a lot of trouble with this and I finally had to just go back to the old way of doing it. So apologies if it's kind of hard to follow. And again, there is extra help on Friday mornings at 10. Check your email for the link for that Zoom call and we can go over it again in person, kind of in person, at least live. Okay. So let's get to it. You should have two handouts that you got in class. One of them just says scale degrees, and this probably looks backwards to you, but it looks scale degrees. And then the other one is your actual homework that you put together. Okay, so the scale degree page, I'm just gonna kind of go right through them and tell you just like how to pronounce them all and then explain a little bit about them. And then we're going to work together on learning exactly what that means. So I'm just looking at the scale degree page right now. The first one is the first scale degree is the most important note in the key or the scale. It is the one that names both of those things and the one everything else relates to, and that is called the tonic. And you've probably heard me use that term before because that one I use quite often. Some of the other ones I don't always use, but tonic is probably one that you've heard before. The second scale degree is called the supertonic. The third is the mediant. The fourth scale degree is the subdominant. And the fifth scale degree is the dominant. You may have also heard me use that term, especially if you're in jazz band, you'll hear that one. Sixth scale degree is the submediant. The seventh scale degree is the leading tone. And then of course the eighth is also the tonic. The most important part of this page is that paragraph down below. And once you understand what that means, it actually tells you quite a bit about what's going on here. So I'm just going to read it first. The scale degrees have these names for a reason. The names relate to their function and to their position to each other on the scale. For example, the tonic is the primary tone. The subdominant is below the dominant and the leading tone leads the tonic. Those are three examples of their function. That second sentence is the most important. I'm going to read that again. The names relate to their function, like to the names of the scale degrees relate to those notes function in that scale and to their position to each other. So if you know just a very little actually about how prefixes work and what these words mean, then it actually gives you quite a bit of information about how that is used in the scale. So I have a whiteboard to share with you, of course, right? I always have to share something. Oh, excuse me. Sorry about that. So here is my badly drawn scale. This is concert B flat. I should have wrote B flat major up here. This is not transposed for your instruments. It's just the B flat scale. And I did this rather quickly because I've, like I said, tried a whole bunch of other things before going back to the system. So bear with me on this one. And we're going to just practice figuring out how to work with some of these things. So I said already, the first scale degree is called the tonic. Okay, in the scale, that is the note B flat. With me so far, I hope. And down here, this B flat, or this eighth scale degree, is also the tonic. It does not matter what octave it is in, it only matters what the note is and what position it is in the scale. So both of them, the beginning and the end of the scale, are B flat. They're both called the tonic. All right, we're going to skip 2, and I'm going to go to 5 right now. So the 5th scale degree, I said earlier, is called the dominant. And in this scale, the dominant is the note F. Okay, so far so good. Now I'm going to go to the 3rd scale degree. 3rd scale degree is the mediant. And in this scale, the mediant is the note D. All right, now over here, I'm going to put a couple of words for you. We need to get into some prefixes here. Super, oops. Super means above. So if you have a superhero, that is an even more amazing person than just your everyday hero, right? It's above average. If I say you did a super good job on that assignment, I mean that you have gone above my expectations of what you would accomplish in that assignment. So super means above. With that in mind, let's go back over here to the 2nd scale degree. A 2nd scale degree is the supertonic. That's what it's called. And it sounds like a joke, but that's really its term. In this scale, the supertonic is the note C. Okay, so you see that super meaning above. It is above the tonic. The tonic is B flat. C is above that, right above that, and so it's called the supertonic. And another prefix that we need is sub, and that one means, you guessed it, below. So if you have a subway, not the sandwich, but the actual thing, that is a way to move under the normal road. So it's underground, right? Subways are below the ground. So it's below. That's what that word means. So you guessed it, number 4 is the subdominant because it is under the dominant. In this scale, the subdominant note is E flat. Okay, I'm going to skip number 6, the 6th scale degree, and we're going to go to the leading tone, which is 7. We'll come back to 6, don't worry. In the scale, the 7th scale degree is A. And that is called the leading tone because it leads your ear to want to hear this tonic again. So if you were singing a scale, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you just hung out here for a really long time, people would start throwing things at you very soon because they want to hear 8. Everything in our Western music points us to wanting to be arrive at that tonic note. In the 7th scale degree, its whole purpose for existing is to make us want that resolution. So that's why we call it the leading tone, because it leads us back home. It gives us the desire to want to go back to that tonic note. Okay, we only have one left, and that is the 6th scale degree. Now this one can be a little bit tricky, so I'm going to just tell you what it is first. It's the submediate, and in this scale, whoops, yeah, in this scale, it is the note G. Got confused here. I'm fine now, don't worry. So you might be thinking, now that doesn't make any sense to me because you said that the sub is under, and this 6th scale degree is clearly not under the 3rd one, which you told me was the mediant, right? So what gives here? Well, here's what's going on. We have this mediant here, right? 3rd is the mediant. it is called the mediant because we are directly in the middle between the tonic and the subdominant, or tonic and the dominant notes. So the third is the middle of this chord. If we were going to do B flat, D, F is the tonic chord, the D is straight up in the middle of that. So medium looks like the word middle. You can, kind of think of it that way. If you have a medium temperature, it's not too hot or not too cold. It's directly in the middle, right? It's just fine. Median means middle. And music also means this third interval, right? So going back to the submediant, no, the sixth scale degree is not below the median. However, it is a third below the tonic. I don't know if you can see that. Maybe I can see if I can get my draw skills on here, and go below. Oh, it's a pretty bad arrow. All right, so this sixth scale degree is a third below the tonic. So it is under the tonic, and it is the mediant of this chord, this built on the subdominant F, and then, E flat, G, and then B flat. So it is the mediant of those three notes, and it is under the tonic, so it is called the submediant. If none of that last part made any sense to you, don't despair, just kind of file it away back there. And the more you use this stuff, the easier to understand it's going to be. If you just memorize for now that the sixth scale degree is called the submediant, and then later on, I think it's going to make better sense to you as you use this kind of theory a little bit more. All right, so I'll give you a second if you wanted to take a picture of that. You probably don't need it because it's on the handout I gave you. All right, so now on the sheet of homework, the only thing you have to do is know your scales, which I only use scales that we already are supposed to have known. And it is important for you to tell me what instrument you play up there on the top, because that's going to tell me if you did the transposition correctly also. So like for the first one, it says, in the key of concert B flat, what note is the subdominant? All right, well, you have to know a few things. You first have to know what scale degree the subdominant is. I just told you the subdominant is the fourth scale degree. Then you have to know, for you, when you play the concert B flat scale, what is the fourth note? And so I play alto sax. And so my concert B flat is a G scale. So I would go G, A, B, C. My fourth scale degree, or the subdominant, is a C. So I would write C down there in that blank. So hopefully that makes sense to you. 1 through 7 are just simply give me one note. There's a long line there, just give me one note. And make sure that you transpose it correctly for your instrument. This is a way to revisit and practice your scales and kind of kill two birds with one stone here, get your theory homework done and practice your scales. Where it says fill in the blanks, that is the first one, of course, or anyway, is the exactly from the handout I gave you with all the information on it. So hopefully that will be easy to figure out. There are 3 different words that go in those blanks. And then I said, if I asked you to build a chord in the key of B flat starting on the tonic, what note would you start on? The only thing you have to know is what the tonic is in B flat, or concert B flat, for your instrument again. Okay, so as always, if there's any questions, feel free to email me. I'm sorry this one was kind of crazy. I'll work on the new system soon and hopefully have a better way of doing it. Until then, I hope that you'll drop into the Zoom theory practice thing, and we can actually probably get most of that done tomorrow if you want to. Until then, practice hard. I'll see you on Thursday.